If you've been wanting to start a WordPress blog or website, but feel overwhelmed by hosting setups, migrations, or slow page speeds, well, you're in the right place, because in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to launch a brand new WordPress website and blog using Cloudways. Cloudways gives you a fast, secure, and beginner-friendly way to host your site without dealing with all the complicated server stuff behind the scenes. And by the end of this tutorial, you'll not only have your site up and running, but you'll also know how to customize your theme, publish your first blog post, and make your website and blog look clean and professional. And real quick, before we get started, if you get any value out of this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe to the Blog Within YouTube channel. Helps me bring you more resources, and it keeps you up to date with all the AI, web, and tech trends happening throughout the year. But either way, thank you so much for all your support. All right, with that being said, let's get started. First things first, head over to the Cloudways website, and you could get there by visiting the link in the video description below, and that will take you to the homepage that you're looking at right now. And the best part is that Cloudways doesn't require a credit card up front, and you'll get a free 3-day trial so you can test everything out before buying. So to get started, click the Try Now for Free button, and this will take you through the sign up flow. From here, you can either sign up with your DigitalOcean, LinkedIn, GitHub, or Google account, or manually create an account by adding your name, email, and creating a password. But for this example, I'm going to sign up with my Google account, so I'll select that and approve the connection. And then once signed in and connected, you'll be asked to create a password and fill out the questionnaire fields. So let me do that really quick. And these are just some quick onboarding questions to help tailor your experience. And then if you have a promo code, just click that link there and enter it, and then check the box to agree to the terms and privacy policy and click the sign up button. Next, you'll need to verify your account. By default, it looks like my email account was already verified, but you may need to check your inbox and find the verification email from Cloudways if this first step isn't checked for you. Next, you'll be asked to verify via SMS. So go ahead and enter your phone number and click Send SMS. Then once you receive the 6-digit code, go ahead and enter it there and click Verify. Then once verified, you'll have the option to start with a free 3-day trial, or you could just dive right into a paid plan. But for this video, we're going to stick with the free trial so you can see everything Cloudways offers and experience how convenient and powerful it is compared to shared hosting. So go ahead and click 3-day free trial to begin setting up your account. Next, you'll be taken straight to the application and server configuration page. Now, unlike traditional shared hosting, where you're simply renting space on a server shared with other people, Cloudways lets you configure your own virtual private server. And that means you could set up the exact server parameters that you need on whichever cloud provider that you want from this list that you'll see in a few moments, and then install unlimited websites on it. Then as your site grows, you can easily scale your resources for more capacity. So, to get started, under the application and server details, select Optimize WordPress, and it should already be selected, but you could change it if you want to use a different setup by clicking that drop-down. As you can see, Cloudways offers several options for various setups, but I'm keeping it set to Optimized WordPress since I'll be building a WordPress blog. Then go ahead and name your application, server, and project. And this is just for back-end organizational purposes, so I'll name the application WordPress, then Ben Server, and the project will be My First Project. Then for the application stack, I recommend going with the hybrid stack. It's fast and stable, but if you need help choosing, you could click that link there, and Cloudways gives you a brief overview of each stack to help you determine which one suits your requirements. But like I said, for this example, I'm going to be using the hybrid stack, so we'll select that one. Next, you'll select your server provider, and you could choose between DigitalOcean, Vultr, or Linode for the free trial. Then AWS and Google Cloud require a paid plan. So if you want the most affordable option, I recommend going with DigitalOcean. But if you have the budget for it, AWS or Google Cloud are still great options as well. Then depending on the provider you pick, you'll see slightly different settings here, but if you're following along for the most affordable setup, I recommend choosing the basic server type and then start with 1 or 2 gigabytes of RAM. You could always scale up later if you need more power. And when selecting how many gigabytes of RAM, you could use this slider to determine the best amount for your needs. But keep in mind that the more RAM you use, the higher your hourly and monthly usage costs will be. So For this example, since I'm trying to be as budget friendly as possible, I'll choose 1 gigabyte, which you'll notice has dropped my hourly and monthly costs considerably. Next, you'll want to choose a server location that's closest to your audience so they get the best possible loading speeds. And clicking here gives you a few options. So again, choose a server location that is closest to your audience. If you're unsure where that may be, just pick the one closest to your current location. All right, then once everything looks good, click the Launch Now button to deploy your server. And you might see some optional plugin suggestions. Feel free to check the box to include these in your WordPress configuration. And I gotta say that Omnisend is actually a great email marketing provider. If you're in need of email marketing tools and resources for your website and business, I actually have some Omnisend video tutorials that I'll link to in the video description below. If you're interested, check them out whenever you have some extra time. But for now, I'm just gonna click Skip for now, and I'll add the plugins later on in the video. Then Cloudways gets to work spinning up your server, which takes a few minutes, and you can monitor it here, but for the sake of time, I'm going to fast forward to when it's done. And once setup is complete, you now have a live WordPress site. Doesn't get any easier than that. Now, we obviously have a few more things to do to make it a legit website or blog, but if you click the www icon on the server there, you can access the applications installed on this server, which should be WordPress, and from the panel on the right, there it is. Go ahead and click on WordPress, and that'll open your WordPress Access Details page. And if this is your first time here, it may seem a bit overwhelming with all the usernames and passwords, but it's pretty simple once you get the hang of it and understand what's what. And for this example, to access your application, which in this case is our WordPress site, click the application URL link to view your live site. And it's pretty basic for now, but it's live on the internet and ready to customize. Now, you'll notice it currently uses a temporary Cloudways app domain, which we obviously want to change. So next, let's connect our own custom domain. So back at the Access Details page, from the sidebar menu on the left, select Domain Management. From here, you'll see your temporary domain listed with a button to add domain. Cloudways doesn't sell domains directly, so you'll need to bring in your own domain. And if you don't already have one, I recommend Namecheap or GoDaddy for affordable and easy to manage domains. So next, let me show you exactly how to purchase and configure your DNS records to point your domain to your new Cloudways site. Now that our server and WordPress application are set up and running, it's time to connect a custom domain and set up your SSL certificate. Now, if you've never done this before, it's actually quite easy. Don't let the technical jargon fool you. And Cloudways makes it super simple as well. Plus, I'm going to walk you through it step by step. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, I'll be using a brand new domain name from GoDaddy. You don't have to use GoDaddy as your registrar. The steps to configure the DNS will be pretty much the exact same no matter which registrar you use. However, the steps to buy the domain and access the DNS settings may be slightly different. But if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out in the comments or contact Cloudways customer support, and we'd be more than happy to help you out in any way that we can. I'll also link to some help docs that will walk you through the process if you're having any issues getting started as well. Okay, so from GoDaddy, let's find a domain to purchase. So in that field at the top of the screen, go ahead and enter your desired domain name, and be sure to enter the full domain. Don't add any prefixes or www, just the domain. And then click the Search Domains button. Then if the domain is available, you'll see it listed here. And go ahead and click the Make It Yours button. And then it looks like I have to click the Next button to move on. And then this is where you could customize your billing period. So GoDaddy lets you choose how long you want to register your domain, anywhere from 1 year up to looks like 10 years. And if you just want to keep things simple, you could start with a 1-year term, but if you'd rather not worry about renewals for a while, you can lock it in for multiple years at a discounted rate. And you'll also see the option to enable full domain protection, which helps prevent unauthorized changes and adds an extra layer of security with 2-factor verification. Now, it's optional, but I highly recommend keeping it turned on, especially if your website will represent your business or brand. So I'm going to go with 1-year billing cycle for this domain. And then once you've chosen your term length and protection level, you can review the pricing breakdown on the right-hand side of the screen, and it looks like about $24 for the year. That's not bad at all. Then below that, GoDaddy will offer some additional upsells like professional email with Microsoft 365. Now, having a professional email address that's linked to your domain is great for your business, but you could skip this for now and set it up later if you prefer. So I'm actually going to skip it and leave no professional email selected. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and click the Continue to Cart button to move to the checkout page. Next, you'll want to fill in your billing information and select your payment method. You could use PayPal, a credit card, or another available option, but after verifying your order details one last time and filling this out, go ahead and click Complete Purchase. And then once your payment is processed, you'll see a confirmation screen that says your new domain is officially yours. Congratulations, GoDaddy will also email you a receipt confirming this purchase. Then this is where the steps make it a little different, because when we click continue, GoDaddy will take us through some GoDaddy specific onboarding upsells. And if you purchased your domain somewhere else, you can disregard these steps. And if you purchase your domain from GoDaddy, you could also disregard these steps as well. For example, it looks like I have two similar domains and GoDaddy wants to know if I want to keep them separate. I obviously do, so I'll select keep separate. You probably won't have that problem. And then next, GoDaddy wants me to confirm my business details. This doesn't matter for our Cloudways setup, so you can literally type anything here and click continue. And then this is where GoDaddy starts with the upsells. Now we don't need any of this, so go ahead and click not now for all of these add-ons. And then one more not now. And we're finally taken to our domain management page. So next, we'll configure the DNS settings so that this domain works with Cloudways. And this is where things can get a bit technical if you're brand new to DNS and domains, but trust me, it's super simple once you know what to do. So from the sidebar here, select Domain. Then click on the DNS tab to open the DNS records. And again, depending on your registrar, this may look a little different, but what we want to do is delete all of the A and C name records. And you'll more than likely have one A record and either one or a few C name records, but all you'll do is delete them by clicking the trash can icon next to each record and then confirming that you want to delete them. Then GoDaddy asked me to verify my identity for each one, so once I do that, the record will be officially deleted. And as you can see here, I'm now down to the 3 CNAME records. So let me follow the same steps to delete these 3 remaining records. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to make you sit through me deleting each of these CNAME records. But again, you'll want to be sure to delete the A record and the CNAME records. Also, if you do have a TXT record, which you more likely will, be sure to leave that in place. All you want to do is remove the A record and CNAME records. All right, then once all the necessary records are gone, it's time to add our new records so that the domain works with Cloudways. So the first record we'll add is the A record. However, for this one, you'll need your public IP. So head back to Cloudways, and from the dashboard, click this little All Servers icon, and this will bring you to your server management page where all of your servers will be listed. So find the one associated with your site and click on it, and this will open your master credentials for the server. Then from here, copy the public IP address by clicking the copy icon next to it. Then once copied, head back to your domain registrar. And then from here, we'll need to add a new record. So click the Add New Record button, and you'll be presented with a few fields. It's pretty straightforward. For the type, select A from the dropdown. Then for the name, enter the @ symbol. For the value, paste the public IP that you just copied from Cloudways. And then for TTL, set it to 1 hour or automatic if you have the option. But GoDaddy doesn't give me the automatic option, so I'm setting the TTL to 1 hour. Okay, then once that's all filled out, click the Save button there towards the bottom right corner. And GoDaddy will make me verify my identity every time, but once that's done, you'll see the newly added A record. Then let's add the new CNAME record. So click the Add New Record button again. And this time set the record type to CNAME. Then in the name field, enter www. Then the value field will be your domain without any prefixes. So just enter your domain name. Then again, set the TTL to 1 hour or automatic if you have the option to do that. And then once that's all filled out, click the Save button. And then after I verify my identity, you'll see the new CNAME record has been successfully added. Now, please keep in mind that sometimes it takes up to 48 hours for these records to update globally, so if your domain isn't connecting to Cloudways right away, it's probably still propagating on GoDaddy's end, and you'll just have to sit tight, but for most cases, this will work within minutes of creating the new records. And on that note, let's head back to Cloudways, and then open our WordPress application by clicking the www globe icon. And then from the panel on the right, select WordPress. And this time, open Domain Management. And from here, we want to add a new domain. So click the Add Domain button. And this will open a small pop-up window where you can enter the domain name that you just purchased. And in this case, it's benclouddemovideo.com. And then you can ignore the add as wildcard option for now, since we're only connecting a single domain and not setting up subdomains or multi-site configurations. So once you've entered your domain, click Save Changes. And then you should see a confirmation message in the top right corner of the screen saying that your additional domain has been added successfully. Now your new domain will appear in the list just below your temporary Cloudways domain. And you'll also notice that it's currently labeled as an alias, which means it's added but not yet set as the primary domain for the website. So to make it the main domain, click that three-dot menu icon or the kebab icon next to your domain name, and then select Make Primary from the dropdown. And then a confirmation box will appear asking if you want to set your new domain as the primary one, and of course we do, so click Set as Primary to confirm. And then Cloudways will then automatically perform a quick search and replace process in your WordPress database to update the domain name across your entire site. Now, this took about a minute to finish, but I'm going to fast forward real quick, and once that is done, you'll see a new message pop up confirming that your domain has been updated successfully. And if you look at your domain list again, and your new domain should now show the blue primary label next to it. And that means your WordPress website is now officially live on your own custom domain instead of the temporary Cloudways domain. And then if we open a browser and try to visit the custom domain, more than likely your browser will warn you that this site isn't secure because it's not using the HTTPS prefix, and that's because we haven't set the SSL certificate yet. So to do that, let's head back to Cloudways, and from the sidebar, select SSL certificate, and this will bring you to the SSL management page, and all you're going to do here is make sure Let's Encrypt is selected from that first dropdown, and this is Cloudways' free SSL option, and it's perfect for securing your WordPress site without having to pay for a premium certificate. Then below that, enter your email address into the email address field, and this is just used for SSL renewal notifications. Then in the domain name field, type your full domain, and in this case, it's benclouddemovideo.com. And you can leave the apply wildcard option turned off and unchecked unless you're planning to secure subdomains as well. Okay, once that's set, click Install Certificate, and Cloudways will begin installing the SSL certificate from Let's Encrypt. And this usually only takes a few seconds, but it could take a minute or so. So just sit tight while it does its thing. And I'm actually going to fast forward really quick. But when it's finished, you'll see a confirmation message in the top right corner letting you know that your SSL certificate is now active and your website is officially secure. And to test it out, click the external link icon there next to your WordPress site name in the top left corner. And this will open your live site in a new tab. And if you look in the address bar, you'll see it now begins with the HTTPS prefix. That's the secure version of your site. And there you go. If this was your first time setting up an SSL certificate on a WordPress website, I want you to know that it typically isn't this easy with other shared hosts. The fact that Cloudways allows you to set this up in a few clicks is really awesome and a huge reason why I'm switching over to their hosting. Okay. Your WordPress website is now live on your custom domain and fully protected with an SSL encryption. Congrats. So, on that note, let's move on and start customizing your WordPress blog. Now the fun begins, because you could start building your WordPress site, and all this begins by logging into your WordPress dashboard. So anytime you want to edit or make changes to your site, you're going to do so through your WordPress dashboard. And to get there, you have a few options. first you could go to your access details page. And from here, find the admin panel username and password, and you'll see your WordPress login URL listed there. It'll be your domain followed by wp-admin. And you can access this URL here and then enter the login credentials listed below in order to log into WordPress. Or you could simply visit the wp-admin URL outside of Cloudways and then enter these login credentials as well. Either way, anytime you want to log into your WordPress backend, you'll first need to log in via this wp-admin URL. So for this example, we'll just access it here from Cloudways. And before I do that, let me copy this password really quick since we're going to use it to log in. Then when you click on the admin URL, you'll be taken to the WordPress login page. From here, simply enter your username, which in this case will be your email address that you signed up with, and then paste the password that we just copied, and click the login button. And welcome to your WordPress dashboard. If this is your first time here, think of this as home base for your WordPress website or blog. This is where you'll add content, install plugins, update your theme, publish blog posts, etc. Anytime you want to make a change to your site, it's going to be done through your WordPress dashboard and backend. And let me give you a quick tour. So over on the left-hand side, you'll see the WordPress sidebar menu. This is where you'll access all the main areas of your site, like pages, posts, media, plugins, and themes. And we'll explore some of these sections later, but for now, just know that everything you'll need to manage your website can be found here. Then whatever you select from the sidebar will display over here towards the right-hand side of the screen. Right now, we're viewing the dashboard, which gives you a quick overview of your site, including things like recent activity, site health, etc. Then, up at the very top, you'll notice the admin toolbar. This dark horizontal bar stays visible whenever you're logged into WordPress and provides quick access to key areas like your profile, updates, and shortcuts to add new content. Now, to view the front end of your website, the part that visitors will actually see, hover your mouse over your site name in the top left corner and click Visit Site. And by default, it looks like the domain name is being used as the site name, but I'll show you how to change that a little later on in the video. Okay, so this is what your site looks like right now using the default WordPress theme, which comes pre-installed with every new setup. And we'll definitely be updating this a little later on in the tutorial as well. And then you'll notice that that black admin toolbar that I showed you a few seconds ago is still showing across the top of the screen. That's how you know that you're currently logged into your WordPress website while viewing your live site. It's a great shortcut that lets you quickly jump back and forth between editing and previewing your site. And speaking of that, to return to your WordPress dashboard, hover your mouse over the site title again in the upper left corner and click on Dashboard. And that'll take you right back to the admin area where you can continue building and managing your site. Okay, now that you know your way around, let me go over some of my recommended tips for starting any type of WordPress website or blog. And the first one being configuring your permalinks. So within your WordPress dashboard, from the sidebar on the left-hand side of the screen, hover your mouse over Settings and click on Permalinks. And this will bring you to your permalink management page where you can set and configure the permalinks that you want to use on your site. Now by default, it looks like post name is selected as the permalink structure, which is what I recommend. And if you're new to permalinks, they basically determine how your URLs are structured. In other words, how the links to your posts and pages appear in the browser. And having clean, descriptive URLs not only makes your content easier to navigate, but it also helps with SEO and overall site organization. And you'll see a few different options here for how your URLs can be formatted, like plain, day and name, month and name, numeric, post name, or you can even create a custom structure there towards the bottom if you want. But like I said, I use post name for all my sites and it's worked well for my particular use case. So once you've selected your permalink structure, go ahead and click the Save Changes button. And next, let's go over some of your user profile settings. So from the sidebar this time, hover your mouse over Users and click on Profile. And this brings you to your WordPress user profile settings page. So first, I want to show you how to change your public display name. This is the name that's displayed whenever you author a blog post, so being able to change it gives you some flexibility when it comes to how your name is publicly displayed online. Okay, first you'll want to give yourself a nickname and then use that nickname as the display name. So where it says nickname, go ahead and type the name that you want to use for your display name. And remember, this is going to be used for the byline of all your blog posts, so try to keep it professional or aligned with your brand. Then directly below that, where it says display name publicly as, simply select the nickname that we just created from the dropdown. Next, since we're here, let's update the website field. By default, Cloudways assigns a temporary domain to your website when it's first installed, but now that our custom domain is live, it's important to replace that temporary Cloudways link with your actual website address. So go ahead and update this field with your new domain. And then updating this ensures that any author links or references across your site point to your real domain instead of the temporary one. It's a small but important step for keeping your site's branding consistent and maintaining clean, professional URLs. Okay, once you've made your changes, go ahead and scroll down and click the Update Profile button to save those settings. And then you'll get this notification letting you know that the profile has been updated, but you'll also see that your display name is now showing in your WordPress dashboard there up in the right corner. This means it's also being used within your content and on your blog feed. Now, another important feature that can be updated here in the user profile is your gravatar. If you scroll down again under the About Yourself section, you'll see your gravatar. Now, I've already set mine up and my user profile is displaying here, but if you're brand new to WordPress, you'll need to upload an image and set up your gravatar profile. And you can get started by clicking the link there below the picture, and this will take you to the gravatar website where you could set this all up. It's 100% free and is a globally recognized avatar. It's basically an image that follows you from site to site, appearing beside your name whenever you do things like comment on a blog post. And even if you turned your comments off, it's always a good idea to have a gravatar to enhance your online presence and increase your brand recognition. Now, I'm not going to walk you through the entire gravatar creation process in this video, but all you'll have to do is click the Get Started Now button, and then you'll be prompted to enter your email address and create your profile, which entails uploading the profile pic and then connecting your website. And I have a video on that process that I'll link to in the video description below, but once that is all set up, your gravatar image will be connected to your profile and will now display on all of your WordPress websites, blogs, and comments on other gravatar compatible sites. And again, since we're here, I also recommend adding some quick biographical info. This is sometimes used in the author and bio cards for various WordPress themes, so it's always a good idea to include this when building any type of WordPress website or blog. Then, as always, don't forget to save your changes and click the Update Profile button. And that's going to do it for all the user profile settings. Moving on to plugins. So this time from the sidebar, hover your mouse over plugins and click on installed plugins. This will bring you to your plugin management page where you'll more than likely see a few plugins that have been auto-installed. And in this case, it looks like we have some caching plugins and a few classics like Hello Dolly and the Akismet anti-spam plugin. Now, if you're new to plugins, they're basically bits of software that can be uploaded to your blog. Their purpose is to extend and expand the functionality of your WordPress site. And there are literally thousands of plugins that you could choose from, but to help you along in the process, I've created a Google Doc that lists out and links to each plugin that is recommended for starting a WordPress blog, especially this blog that we're going to be starting in this video. And you can access this Google Doc in the video description below by visiting the link titled Recommended Plugins, and that will take you to the list of plugins that we're going to install and use in this video. And if you have any issues accessing that Google Doc for any reason, just let me know and I'd be happy to email it to you. Now, I try to limit the number of plugins that I use on my blog because the more plugins you have, the more data that you're using, and it also opens you up to the possibility that some plugins may not play nice with one another and could potentially break your site. I should also mention that for the sake of time, I'm only going to walk you through the process of installing and activating one plugin. I'm not going to go through each plugin. That's what the recommended plugin list is for. So once you watch me install this plugin, go ahead and pause this video and install and activate the rest of the plugins if you'd like. Now, it also looks like only 2 of these 4 plugins that we started out with are actually activated, and activated essentially means that they're turned on and are working. If the plugins are deactivated, that just means that they're installed, but they aren't turned on and affecting your site. But either way, if you have deactivated plugins on your site and you don't plan to use them, it's a good idea to just remove them. So that's what we're going to do here in this case. So to remove plugins that you're not going to use, simply check the boxes next to them to select them. And then from that drop-down menu, select Delete. And then click the Apply button. And just like that, the plugins have been removed and you can begin installing plugins that you're actually going to use. So to add new plugins, start by clicking the Add Plugin button towards the top of the screen. And this will bring you to the plugin repository where you could browse, filter, and select plugins to add to your site. And the plugin I'm going to install in this video is the Rank Math SEO plugin. So in the search field in the upper right corner, type in Rank Math. And since it's searching by keyword, it should be the first plugin listed there. And there it is. And the Rank Math plugin is a very powerful tool that will help you optimize your WordPress site for the search engines. There is so much that you could do with it, and I actually have an in-depth walkthrough that I'll link to in the video description below that walks you through the entire process of setting up Rank Math and using it on your site, which I highly recommend checking out whenever you have some extra time. But for now, let's just install and activate it so that it's working on this site. So from the plugin card here, click the Install button. And then once installed, click the Activate button. And just like that, the Rank Math plugin has been added and activated to your WordPress site. And you'll see it listed in the plugin management page as well as the new Rank Math menu item in the sidebar on the left-hand side of the screen. And from here, what you'll want to do is click on that Rank Math sidebar menu item, and then that will walk you through the initial connection steps in order to use the plugin on your site. Again, for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through these steps in this video, but in my full Rank Math video tutorial, which is linked in the video description below, I go over everything that you need to know in order to get started and use Rank Math to boost your WordPress SEO. It's an amazing SEO plugin, and I highly recommend going through that video whenever you have some extra time. Also, I'm not installing any more plugins here in this video, but you'll more than likely want to install and activate a few more plugins as you're building your site. And if you plan on building your site exactly like I am in this video, I'll also link to another WordPress tutorial of mine in the video description below that goes into much more detail and more in depth in terms of plugin setup, site structure, etc. So be sure to check that out whenever you have some extra time. Okay, so that's going to do it for the plugins. Moving on, next, let's change the WordPress theme that's being used on this site. So from the sidebar, hover your mouse over Appearance and click on Themes. And this will bring you to the WordPress theme management page. This is where you could add new themes, change your current theme, and search for additional themes, all from this menu. Now, we're going to be adding a new theme. So to get started, simply click on the Add New Theme icon. And this will bring you to the WordPress theme directory. And basically, this is where you could browse through the thousands of different themes that WordPress has to offer. It's a great way to filter through the themes and find exactly what you're looking for. Now, another way to find a theme is to use the search function. And this works the same as any search bar, and it's a great way to find a theme if you already know the name of it, like I do. So I'm just going to type in the word kale, and that will bring up the search results. And as you can see, our theme is the first one there, the Kale theme by Lyra Themes. And I've used this theme for years, and I love it for food and lifestyle blogs. But before you install any theme, I highly recommend that you preview it just so you can get a better idea of how it functions. So to check out the demo, simply hover your mouse over the theme thumbnail there, and where it says Details and Preview, click on that, and that's going to bring you to the demo. Now, keep in mind that this is just a basic demo of what the theme can do and some of its capabilities, but again, this gives you a good idea of how the theme behaves, and it gives you a good feel for the user experience as well. Also, if you look on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see that each theme displays their users' ratings and a short description, which can help in the decision-making process. And as you can see, the Kale theme has a 5-star rating, which is good for us. And again, I love this theme. I've been using it for years, and it's a great theme. So let's go ahead and install it by clicking the Install button there at the top of the screen. And then once installed, go ahead and click the Activate button. And this will officially activate the theme and make it visible on your blog. Then back at the theme management menu, WordPress will mark the Kale theme as active here as well. A few things to note: after you activate the theme, you'll probably get a welcome message along with some recommended plugins that are specific to this theme. Now, these are included in my recommended plugins Google Doc, but since we're here, you can go ahead and install and activate these 3 plugins. So click that Begin Installing Plugins link, and then you'll be taken to this batch installation plugin page where you can select all 3 plugins, and then click the drop-down menu and select Install, and then Apply. Then I kind of sped through this, I apologize, but you'll also need to activate each one of these plugins, but I just did it manually here in this menu. But once they're all installed and activated, they'll all be listed here in your plugin management page. Then now that our site is using the Kale theme, let's check it out by visiting the front end of the site. So hover your mouse over the site title in the upper left corner and click on Visit Site. And check that out. It's no longer using the default WordPress theme and is now using our newly installed and activated Kale theme. Now, we still have some work to do in order to customize and design this theme, but the Kale theme is a great place to start when it comes to building a food or lifestyle blog. Okay, let's head back to the WordPress dashboard by hovering your mouse over your site title in the upper left corner and clicking on Dashboard. And moving on. Next, let me show you how to publish your first blog post. In this portion of the tutorial, we're going to use WordPress's visual editor and the WordPress blocks to write, construct, and publish a blog post. It's truly one of the most convenient and revolutionary ways to publish unique blog content on the fly, and it's probably the main reason why I've been using WordPress for over 10 years. So, anytime you want to publish a blog post from your WordPress dashboard within the sidebar on the left-hand side of the screen, you can either hover your mouse over Posts and click on Add Post, or within the admin toolbar at the top of the screen, hover your mouse over Plus New and click on Post from that dropdown. Both will allow you to create a new blog post and will take you to the WordPress block editor. Now, this is where the content making magic happens and is where you'll construct, edit, and publish your blog content. In the middle, you'll see your block editor. At the top, you'll enter your title, and then below that, you can start typing or adding blocks, which we'll go over in just a bit in greater detail. Then on the right are the post and block settings panel. This is where you can add categories and tags, set the featured image, and more. Then moving to the upper left corner of the admin toolbar, the WordPress logo exits the block editor and takes you back to the dashboard. The plus icon is another way to insert blocks into your content. The arrows are undo and redo editing options. And then that line icon is your list, view, and outline of your post, which is helpful when you start adding blocks of content to the post. Then the search field in the middle there is a quick search feature for commands and settings, kind of like keyboard shortcuts for getting around and using the editor. I honestly don't use this, but some people love it, and this is where you can access it. Then moving to the upper right corner, the autosave feature will display. WordPress autosaves your work as you go, pretty handy. Then next to that, the laptop icon lets you preview your post on different devices as well as a different tab before publishing. Again, this is another very handy feature that I recommend using every time you publish blog posts. And then the panel icon displays or hides the block and post settings panel. Then the publish button obviously publishes the post and makes it live. And then the kebab 3-dot icon opens more settings for your editor like distraction-free writing and appearance preferences. Okay, now that you know your way around, let's create a blog post. So first I'll add a title. So where it says add title, simply place your cursor there and start typing like you would in an email or a Google Doc. And this title will be the best homemade chicken parmesan you'll ever make. Then below that, where it says type or / to choose a block, you can either start typing or paste your content or click the plus icon to add a block. For this example, I'm just going to paste my blog content that I've already written in a Google Doc, and it's just like any other application. Simply place your cursor in the field there and paste the content like so. And just like that, we have a somewhat formatted blog post. Now, a few things I want to point out. How your content looks here inside the WordPress visual editor may not match exactly what it looks like on the front end of your site, and that's completely normal. Every WordPress theme has its own styling rules that control how things like headings, paragraphs, spacing, and images appear once your post is published. And the reason behind that is that the visual editor is designed to give you a close preview of your content layout, but the actual styling like fonts, colors, margins, and spacing is handled by your theme's CSS. So depending on which theme you're using, your published blog post may look slightly different than what you see here while editing. And that's why it's always a good idea to preview your post before publishing. This lets you see exactly how it'll look on your live site and gives you a chance to make any final tweaks to formatting, images, or spacing so everything looks just right. And speaking of that, let me quickly show you how to make some tweaks to your content here within the editor. First, you can place your cursor anywhere within the content and start typing. And the workflow is very similar to using other document applications and makes writing and editing content here in WordPress familiar and super efficient. Next, you could change the font type by highlighting the text that you want to edit, and this will bring up the editing toolbar for that particular block. And yes, even the text you see here are in blocks. These are paragraph blocks, but I want to change it to a heading. So from the editing toolbar, one way to do that is to click the P icon, and then from the menu, simply select heading. And then you'll see the font style change, notifying you that this is now a heading. And headings are great for blog posts because they help break up your content into clear, easy to read sections. Instead of showing your readers one long wall of text, headings create natural stopping points that make your posts more scannable and engaging. They're also really important for SEO. Search engines use your headings to understand the structure and main topics of your articles, so using keywords naturally in your headings can actually improve how your post ranks in the search results. Plus, from a design standpoint, headings add hierarchy and flow to your page, guiding readers from one idea to the next. So whenever you start a new section or shift topics in your posts, it's a good idea to use a heading to introduce that section. Another thing you'll want to add to your post are hyperlinks. Hyperlinks let you connect text in your content to another page, either on your own website or to an external source like a product page, article, or resource. And they're great for giving readers additional context, referencing credible sources, or even sharing affiliate links if you're monetizing your blog. And to add a link, simply highlight the text that you want to hyperlink, and in this case, I'm selecting the word tablespoon. And then in the formatting toolbar, click the link icon. And from here, you could type or paste the URL that you want to connect. And if it's a page on your own site, WordPress will automatically suggest matching pages as you type. But if you're linking to an external site like a product on Amazon, just paste the full URL directly into that field and click submit or enter on your keyboard. And once added, you'll see the text turn into an active link. And you could click the pencil icon to edit it or remove the icon to delete it. And if you want to make the link stand out, you could use the bold button in the toolbar to emphasize the text. Hyperlinks not only make your posts more interactive and valuable to readers, but they also help search engines better understand the relationships between your content and the sites that you link to, which again can benefit your SEO over time. Next, let's add a featured image to your post. A featured image is the main photo that represents your blog post. It's what appears at the top of your article, in blog feeds, and when your post is shared on social media. So it's a key visual element for grabbing attention and setting the tone of your content. So to add one, go to the sidebar on the right and make sure you're in the Post tab, and then click Set Featured Image, and this will open the media library where you can either select an existing image or upload a new one. And since this is a brand new post, I'll go ahead and click Select Files, and then upload an image from my computer. And once the image is uploaded, it'll appear in your library. Now, by default, it should be selected, but if it's not, you could go ahead and click on it. And then before finalizing, take a moment to update the alt text and title fields on the right-hand side there in the attachment details. The alt text is especially important for accessibility and SEO because it helps search engines and screen readers understand what your image is about. For example, you might describe this as chicken parmesan on a plate in a kitchen. And after you've added the alt text and updated the title, click the Set Featured Image button at the bottom right corner. And there it is. Your featured image is now attached to your post. You could always replace or remove it later if you decide to use a different photo, but for now, this gives your post a professional, polished look that will stand out when it's shared or viewed in your blog feed. Next, let's add an excerpt. So an excerpt is a short preview or summary of your post that appears on your blog's homepage, category pages, and in the search results. It's what readers see before they click through to read the full article, so it's a great opportunity to grab attention and encourage them to keep reading. So to add an excerpt, staying in the post setting, click where it says Add an Excerpt, and this will open a text box where you could type a short description or introduction to your post. And here I'm just going to paste a quick summary that highlights what the readers can expect, and you'll want to keep your excerpt short and inviting. Usually 1 or 2 sentences is perfect. Next, let's briefly talk about categories and tags. So categories and tags are how you organize your content in WordPress, helping both readers and search engines understand what your post is about. And you can find these options in the post settings panel on the right-hand side of the screen. Categories are broader groupings. Think of them as like the main sections of your blog. For example, if you're running a food blog, you might have categories like dinner recipes, healthy meals, desserts, etc. Each post should usually fit into just one main category. Tags, on the other hand, are more specific keywords that describe the details of your post. For this recipe, you might use tags like chicken, Italian, or comfort food. Tags are optional, but they can help readers discover related content on your site. Now, we're not going to dive into creating or managing the categories and tags in this video, but it's good to know that they're here and the important role that they play in keeping your content organized and improving the overall user experience on your blog. All right, another important thing to do before publishing your post is preview it. Previewing lets you see exactly how your post will look once it's live on your website and blog. And from the formatting to the images and headings, you can catch any layout or spacing issues before hitting publish. So to preview your post, click that view icon towards the top right corner of the editor, and then there will be a drop-down where you could choose to preview it on desktop, tablet, or mobile, or you could select Preview a New Tab, and WordPress will open a live preview of your post in a separate browser tab. And here you can see how everything comes together, your title, featured image, content, and layout. This gives you a chance to double check things like text spacing, image placement, and readability before your audience sees it. Okay, back at the editor, there's one last thing I want to go over before publishing, and that's how to add blocks. Blocks are what make up every part of your WordPress post. Each paragraph, image, heading, or list you see is actually its own block, and you can easily add new blocks wherever you want within your post. Just place your cursor in the editor and click enter like you're making a new space for a new paragraph, and then click the plus icon. And this opens a small menu showing common options like paragraph, heading, image, gallery, etc. But from here, you can actually click any of these to instantly add the block to your post, or you could click that Browse All button at the bottom, and this opens the full block library on the left-hand side of the screen where you'll find every available option. And you could scroll through and explore everything from text and media blocks to design elements like buttons, columns, and separators. Then across the top, you'll also notice 3 tabs: blocks, patterns, and media. Blocks that we just went over are individual content elements. Patterns are pre-designed layouts like banners or call to action sections that you could drag right into your post. And then the media tab gives you access to your image library or Openverse if you need free stock style photos. You could also use the search bar at the top to find specific blocks quickly. For example, if you type embed, you'll see all the embed blocks appear there that you could select. And I'm actually going to go with the first option there, just the embed block. And selecting it allows you to paste in links from YouTube, Vimeo, or other supported platforms, and WordPress will automatically display the embedded content for you. So once you've added the embed block, you'll see a field where you could paste in the link to the content that you want to display. And for this example, I'll be embedding a YouTube video. So just paste it there like so, and then click the blue embed button. And WordPress will automatically recognize the link and display the video right inside your post. And as you can see here, the YouTube video now appears directly in the post editor, and this makes it easy for your readers to watch the video without leaving the site. All right, then once you've added all your content and the post looks the way you want it to, it's time to make it live and publish it. So go ahead and click the publish button in the top right corner. And then depending on your settings, WordPress may ask you to confirm it. Just go ahead and click publish again, and this will make your post live. And you'll see a confirmation message letting you know that your post is now live on your website along with the link to view it. So go ahead and click view post to open it in a new tab. And there it is, your completed blog post, published and ready for the world to see. You could see your featured image, post title, embedded video, and formatted text all displayed on your live site. And it's always satisfying to see your work come together like this and know it's ready for readers to enjoy. Okay, moving on. Next, let's go over how to customize the design and layout of your new WordPress blog. Now that your post is live, the last thing I want to show you is how to customize your site's layout and design. This is where you could really make your WordPress blog feel like your own. So to get started, go to the top of the screen and click Customize in the admin bar. And this opens the theme customizer, which gives you a live preview of your site on the right, and then a menu of customization options on the left. And from here, you'll see several categories like general settings, site identity, header image, menus, widgets, and more. And each section controls a different part of your theme, and depending on which theme you're using, these options might look a little different, but overall, this is where you could tweak your layout, colors, and branding. So let's start with clicking Site Identity. And this is where you could update your site's name, tagline, and logo. By default, your site title might still show your domain name, but you could change that to something that better represents your blog. For example, let's rename it My Food Blog. And then in the tagline field, I'm going to type Where Hunger Goes Away. You could also upload a logo if you have one, or you could simply use a text logo by typing it in the field below. But if you recall, it started us off with the domain as the text logo, so that's why the domain was being shown as the site title. But if we remove that, you'll see the site title and tagline update instantly in the preview on the right. Then, just like everything in WordPress, if you make any changes, don't forget to publish them. So click the Publish button at the top there to make these changes live. All right, then back at the main customization menu. Next, let's take a look at the header image settings. This section controls the large image that appears across the top of the site, or the upper part of the site, which is often the first thing visitors see when they land on your homepage. And you'll see your current header displayed along with options to hide it or upload a new one. And if you want to change the image, click Add Image or upload a new photo that fits your site's theme or niche. Then below that, you'll find options for the caption heading and caption description. Here you could add a short message or call to action that appears right over the header image. For example, I'm just going to change the heading to say subscribe for recipes. You could also add a brief description below if you want to encourage visitors to explore your content or sign up to your newsletter. And then you could also add a link there if you want to have a call to action. But once you make these updates, you'll see them instantly reflect in the live preview on the right. Then if we keep making changes before we publish this back at the customization menu, let's take a quick look at the menus section. And menus control the navigation links on your site, things like home, about, contact, or blog. Now you'll need to obviously create these pages and add them to the menu, but if you click menus, you'll see the option to create a new menu here, and you can give it a name and then assign where it should appear, usually at the top area of your theme, which is the primary location. And then you could also add menu items like pages, blog categories, or even custom URLs. And again, once they're added, they'll appear at the top of your site in the navigation bar, and this makes it easier for your visitors to browse your site and find what they're looking for. Next, let's take a look at widgets. And these control the sidebar and footer areas of your site. And here you'll see a list of widget areas available in your theme, and these include your sidebars, headers, and footer columns. And if you look at the sidebar section, this area appears next to your main blog content, usually on the right-hand side. And you might already see widgets here like archives, categories, search, and recent posts, but you could click any of these to edit or remove them, or you could add new widgets by selecting the Add a Widget option, and then you could add things like a newsletter sign-up form or another text block, etc. Then you could also edit and configure the header and footer areas of your blog as well here in the Widgets tab. And you could use them to display links, social media icons, contact information, or anything you want visitors to see when they reach the end of your blog. And that's the beauty of the WordPress Customizer. You can experiment with different looks, preview everything in real time, and then make your website truly your own before publishing any of those design updates. And speaking of that, let me click the Publish button to make these updates live. All right, that's going to wrap up this Cloudways tutorial. As you just saw, Cloudways makes it incredibly easy to set up, customize, and manage a fully optimized WordPress website and blog. From launching your site on a high-performance server to designing your layout, adding content blocks, and tweaking your theme settings, Cloudways gives you all the tools that you need to build something fast, secure, and professional without all the usual tech headaches. And if you'd like to try Cloudways for yourself, check out the link in the video description below, and that link will take you straight to their website where you can explore all the features, test out the free trial, and see why so many creators, bloggers, and business owners trust Cloudways for their hosting. And if you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future WordPress and website building videos just like this. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. So that's going to do it for this video. If you found it helpful, I'd greatly appreciate it if you would like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Blog with Ben YouTube channel. Also, if you're looking to start a blog, check out these 2 videos on how to build, grow, and monetize a WordPress blog. They'll walk you through the entire process step by step. And as always, your support means a great deal to me and my family, and for that, I thank you. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.